Fingers, Thursday. This was your last practice Fantastic Five before your quiz tomorrow. So I'm filming this video it's Tuesday, meaning I've gotten to see Monday's numbers and Tuesday's numbers, and not what I would have expected, especially because a couple of these questions came from last week. One of the questions is from a few weeks ago on Fan5, so we've seen it before. So I'm definitely seeing some numbers that I wouldn't expect. Now, hopefully Wednesdays were better. Hopefully today, Thursdays, are better. I'm hopeful. But really, I got to keep telling myself the only day that matters is Friday. Monday through Thursdays are practice. Friday's the day where you really got to try your absolute best. Use your strategies, draw your pictures, do your work. And guys, anything that I provide to you in these videos, I would love for you to try. Even if you have a way that works, maybe use my way to try to check your work. I got really, really high expectations for this week's Fantastic Five specifically. So I'm really hoping that we can get those up for the quiz tomorrow, which will be Friday. So fingers crossed. I'll go ahead and read through these. I think I've been doing them on the smartboard, but I've just got this pulled up, so I'll go ahead and knock it out for you. All right, so number one, bonus. If you send me your work for Fan5 today, Thursday, 1 through 5, I'll give you 5 extra points on your Fantastic Five. So if you got a 100, it'll be a 105. If you got an 80, it'll be 85. 5 extra points on Fan5 if you send me your work. All right, let's get into it. Number one says Kyle read some books. David read 3 times as many books as Kyle. Together, they read 48 books. How many books did David read? So look, this is a type of multiplicative comparison problem that most 4th graders are seeing for the first time today. You guys are going to actually see it in your lesson today, but you've seen it for 2 weeks straight in Fantastic Five. So really, that should give you an advantage on this question. In class, at least, it's been a lot lower than I would have thought. But I see 3 times as many. I know I'm doing a multiplicative comparison. I'm comparing Kyle's books to David's books, so I'm going to pull them out of the question. Well, how am I supposed to do that with a white marker? Here's Kyle. Here's David. As always, we get our picture from the times as many, and it says David read 3 times as many. So David gets 3 boxes. Kyle automatically gets 1. Now, the other piece of information that it gives me is that together they read 48 books. Not just Kyle, not just David. Both of them combined read 48 books. So that 48 represents both of them. So now I got to take that 48, I got to divide those books between all of those boxes, not just one of them, Kyle and David. So they've got a total of 4 boxes. Here's where knowing your facts just makes this so much easier, guys. If you know 4 times something to give you 48, you're good. If you don't, you might have to list your multiples, 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3. And really, that's EOG effort. I mean, you don't have an excuse to not know that answer because you've got ways to work it out. But hopefully you know your facts. You'll know that 48 divided by 4 is going to give you 12. Meaning, you're going to put 12 in each of those boxes. The important part is reading this correctly. Gosh, our math has been so good, but the reading has brought these numbers down. It says, how many books did David read? I'm really hoping y'all are putting some stars on these. All I got to do is look at David's picture. I can go 12 plus 12 plus 12, or I can do 12 times 3. Either way you do it, that would be 36. So as a math teacher, I can't say that this one has made me lose much sleep. But just the teacher in me knowing that we're doing really good math and missing these questions because we're not reading, it's tough. You've got to read these questions, please. All right, that one would have been D. Number 2 in class has been one of our better ones. It was nice to see some people who tried my rounding coaster because I told you that's not something you have to do, but when we do our rounding Olympics, it's something that you are going to be required to do. So I like that people are doing that. So it says, in his career, Kobe Bryant scored 33,643 points. How many points did he score to the round? score rounded to the nearest 100. So we got to know where we're rounding to. I'll start by rewriting that number, 33,643. And as always, I'm doing my rounding coaster. 1 through 4 on the left side. 5 through 9 on the right. And then wherever I'm rounding to, that place value, I'm going to underline it and section it off. So I've got to find my hundreds place, which is here, underline, sectioned off. So I've basically split that number into 2 separate numbers. Whatever number you have to the left of that line, here, you've got to ignore the comma. That's the number I'm going to put at the bottom of the left side of that coaster. If you look there, you see the number 336. And then on the other side of the rounding coaster, you just put the next number, which would be 337. So once we look at the left side of the line, we're then going to look at the right side of the line, which is a 4. That 4 is the number that I'm going to circle on the rounding coaster. And then once I circle that 4, I've got to decide, is that on the 336 side or the 337 side? Pretty clearly, you can look at that and see it's on the 336 side. But we're still not done, because then you got to look and see how many numbers you have to the right of the line, right here, which happens to be 2. So if I have 2 numbers to the right of the line, that means I got to add 2 zeros to the end of my number, which would round that down to 33,600, which is A. If you didn't read it correctly and you rounded it to the nearest 10, you're going to miss that question. You're going to put C. If you just round incorrectly, you might choose B. That rounding coaster is really helpful to me. It's a good visual because I've told you all a bunch I'm a visual person. But listen, once you know you're at the hundreds place, I know you can look at that next number and see if it's 5 or above, 4 or below. That'll work every single time. But that rounding coaster will be nice to have in your back pocket for our our rounding Olympics, but that's a little while down the road. All right, so that one was pretty good. Number 3, I knew this one would get better just with practice because this is one you've never done before, not even last year. It says there were 6 people waiting in line for the new PS5. They each waited 3,495 minutes, which would be crazy, but people probably did that. It says how many minutes did they wait combined? The one thing I've noticed, the people who are not very comfortable with their multiplication, they're using that combined to do repeated addition. So they're adding that 3,495 to itself 6 times. If you're careful, that'll work every time. I think it's a lot easier to make a mistake doing it that way. That's why I like looking at the word each and knowing that all my answer choices are getting bigger. So in this case, I'd be multiplying 3,495 times 6. All right, and then you're just doing math. You just got to know your facts. So I'm starting with 6 times 5. 6 times 5 would give me 30. So my 0 stays, my 3 goes. All right, then I'm going across here to the tens place. 9 times 6. If you don't know, nice trick. 9 times 6 gives me 54, plus that 3 up here gives me 57. 7 stays, 5 goes. All right, now I'm going 6 times 4. 6 times 4 gives me 24, plus 5 more gives me 29. 9 stays, 2 goes, and then I'm going over here to the thousands place. 6 times 3 gives me 18, plus 2 gives me 20. That would give me an answer of 20,970, which would be C. So again, one of the many examples of multiplication making your life so much easier instead of having to add all those together. If you memorize your facts, study those flashcards at night, those questions become almost as easy as an addition or subtraction problem. So that one would have been C. I'd like to see more of that than the adding, but again, if you're comfortable doing it and you're doing it carefully, you'll get it right every time. Number 4 in class has been the lowest. In this room, we had 5 out of 13, and the other class, we had 2 out of 10. The bad part is the numbers that I wrote right here, we had 11 out of 13 in here do good math, and over there I think we had like 9 out of 10 do good math. We're not reading. There's like super important words that you got to read here. It says Weston slept for 3 hours. Wells slept twice as long as Weston. How many hours did they sleep in all? So I've shown you box method. I've shown you T-charts. There's so many ways that you can do this, guys. But when you say twice, when I say something twice, I've said it 2 times. So twice as long means 2 times as long, which there you go. You see your multiplicative comparison, your box method. And just since we've been doing it that way, that's how I'm going to do it here. You've got Weston. You've got Wells. And since Wells slept 2 times as long, he's going to get the 2 boxes. And Weston would just get 1. Now, it gave me my small number here. It told me that Weston slept for 3 hours. So I can put Weston's number right there. And that means Wells is going to have 3 in all of his boxes. It says, how many hours did they sleep in all? What I'm afraid of is a lot of people are going to choose B. A lot of people are going to get Wells' number. They're going to see that it's 6. Because in all means you're going to have to add something. So if we know Weston has 3, we know Wells has 6, you got to add those 2 numbers together, and it should have been 9. So you're dealing with small numbers there. I guarantee you the math will be perfect on that one. If you miss it and you chose 6, I'm going to take this. You've got to read. All right, last but not least, number 5. It says there are 32 teachers at WGI. 6/8 of them assign homework every single night. How many teachers do not assign homework every night? So I'm finding the fraction of a whole number. For some reason, I feel like I'm not recording. Am I recording? Oh my gosh, am I recording? I am recording. Holy cow, I just freaked out. All right, back to it. I'm finding the fraction of a whole number. So every time I'm finding the fraction of a whole number, my picture looks the same. There's my 32 pictures, not pictures. There's my 32 teachers. And now I'm going to take those 32 teachers and I'm going to split them into 8ths because that's the denominator that I'm working with in that fraction. I'm going to split this into 8 sections. They're supposed to be even. My picture's not perfect. So guys, if I just took 32 teachers and split them into 8ths, that's the same thing as me saying 32 divided by 8. If you know your facts, this becomes fun. It becomes easy because I know 32 divided by 8 would give me 4. That 4 is not my answer. It depends what the question's asking. But that 4 right there is important because that tells me how many teachers are going to be in each of those sections. Each of those 8ths is going to represent 4 teachers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, guys, all I have to do is label those 8ths. It says 6/8 of them assign homework every single night. So that would be all of these teachers homework every night. That would leave these teachers that don't do homework every single night. The question says how many teachers do not assign homework every night. I'm sure these teachers are lovely. For this question, we could not care less about them. We care about these 2 8ths right here, those teachers that don't assign homework every night. You can go 4 plus 4, you can go 4 times 2. Either way, you would have gotten 8. So it's the same picture we've been using all week long. We did that the whole week last time we had this in Fan 5. It's just a matter of you taking the time to draw the picture or not. So like I said, you got your quiz tomorrow. There won't be a review video tomorrow just because we've gone over these all week long, Monday through Thursday, live Zoom on Monday. Before you take the quiz tomorrow, you may want to rewatch this video. You may want to rewatch a video from Tuesday or Wednesday. Either way, guys, you have been given the tools to be successful. You've been given the tools to try to get a 5 tomorrow. Really, it just comes down to who's been watching the video, who's been taking notes, and who's really been asking those questions. I try to get people to reach out to me on Zoom or email if they have questions, and I don't get too many. I do get a few of you, which is great. But just remember, if you don't get something, guys, don't just continue not to get it. Ask. I'm here to help. So best of luck on your quiz tomorrow. Make me look smart because I said this was going to be the week where we had our best numbers on Fan 5. I'm expecting you guys to make me look good. All right, good luck.